Another testy day on Capitol Hill. Democrats and Republicans clashing during the second public impeachment hearing, this time over testimony from the former ambassador to the Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch. Republicans zeroing in on if the witness had first-hand knowledge of key events.
There are a number of events you are investigating to which I cannot bring any first-hand knowledge.
Were you involved in the July 25th Trump-Zelensky phone call or preparations for the call?
No, I was not.
Were you involved in the deliberations about the pause in military sales to Ukraine?
No, I was not. No, I was not.
Did you ever talk to President Trump in 2019?
No, I have not.
Mick Mulvaney?
No, I have not.
Thank you, Ambassador. I'm not exactly sure what the ambassador is doing here today.
And one of the biggest moments coming when President Trump tweeted an attack on the former ambassador in the middle of the hearing. Chairman Adam Schiff then read the tweet. Take a look.
I'll read part of one of his tweets. Everywhere Marie Yovanovitch went turned bad. And now the president in real time is attacking you. What effect do you think that has on other witnesses' willingness to come forward and expose wrongdoing?
Well,
the Democrats, and Adam Schiff in particular, he initially read it because he wanted to make a point. He was trying to say, oh, look, now the president's trying to intimidate you, but she wouldn't have even known about it had he not read it to her. And then I think everyone got a little bit carried away thinking that this was going to be, oh my gosh, this is another impeachable offense. I don't think so. It probably didn't necessarily help, but I think that that was at 10 o'clock this morning. Then by 4 o'clock when we finished our coverage, I think it had pretty much dissipated. That was like a pretty fast news cycle. I don't think it ended up being as big a deal. And she's got a diplomat's skill and a diplomat's grace. Like, she's just steady as she goes. She didn't really react too much. She basically, I don't know if people were tuned in. We'll have to see if they do. But I just didn't think it was all that exciting a hearing. I don't think that anything she said was very damaging to the president. I don't think that anything she said was very helpful to the Democrats. It was just like telling her story over and over and over again.
All right. So Jesse, she said, though, that when the earlier transcript was released and the president was revealed to have been talking to the president of the Ukraine about her and said, you know, she's a bad ambassador, she's going to go through some things. She said she did feel, in fact, that she had been smeared.
Oh, poor baby. When Obama got into office, he fired all the ambassadors and replaced them at will. He can do whatever he wants. All presidents can. Under Obama, ambassadors were coming back in body bags. Now everyone's upset because one got fired. So what? People get fired all the time. It doesn't make a difference. Witness tampering? Really? Schiff colluded with the whistleblower. That's witness tampering. Bribing? How about when Obama sends pallets of cash to Iran? More of a bribe than this. Freezing aid for a blink of an eye? That's a bribe. Tweeting is now an impeachable offense. That's witness tampering. Trump says let's go to court, and then you want to get him for obstruction. They're criminalizing everything.
Let me interrupt you and say, look at this sound on tape, and then you can add to your point, Jesse.
Okay.
Some have argued that a president has the ability to nominate or remove any ambassador he wants, that they serve at the pleasure of the president, and that is true.
I have always understood that I served at the pleasure of the president.
Yes.
Well, listen, they needed something to create momentum after Wednesday, because Wednesday was not good. Wednesday was dull. Only 13 million tuned in. More than twice that tuned in for the royal wedding coverage. You know, and more tuned in for inauguration and Comey and Michael Cohen. This was a little blip. They're going to lose interest very fast, especially after today. They needed a moment. They needed tears. They needed some powerful moment, and that just didn't materialize. And the Dow just broke another record. Yeah. I just think everyone's lost touch with the American people on this, and they don't see it because they're so wrapped up in what's happening in D.C.
All right, so Greg, I wanted to play another shot for you and see what your reaction might be.
Please do. I shall react.
How did that make you feel?
Terrible, honestly.
Were you aware that President Trump had specifically made reference to you in that call?
No.
What was your reaction to learning that?
I was shocked. Absolutely shocked and devastated, frankly.
What do you mean by devastated?
How this has affected you personally and your family.
Yeah. It's been a difficult time. I mean, I'm a private person. I don't want to put all that out there, but it's been a very, very difficult time.
How has it affected your family?
I really don't want to get into that, but thank you for asking.
Greg?
Yeah, they really wanted her to cry there, and they didn't get it. Look, she's a nice lady. She's had a long career. That's irrelevant, okay? That entire hearing was a travesty. It was an irrelevant hearing because it was based on emotions, interpretations, feelings, and reactions to feelings about being fired. A natural process that I know personally about 3 times. I've been fired 3 times. I never had a hearing. And by the way, I defend the bosses. In my 3 times that I was fired, I was a really good employee. But the reason why I was fired? New boss. Yep. New boss comes in, he wants new people. If he doesn't feel that you're going to be loyal, he gets rid of you. That happened to me when I was at Men's Health. That happened to me at Stuff and Maxim. I get that. The fact that they did a hearing where they talk about, quote, felt threatened, or they talk about Trump attacks, she is not immune to Donald Trump the way none of us are. None of us are immune, right? He comes in, he shakes the box. She's just somebody that got fired. This is why this process is dead, because there is no bipartisan support for this, because we all know that what happened is completely legitimate, which is why it's so ugly and why people are mad at each other, because they know it's BS.
Can I briefly just say, though, but in fact, the Trump administration had renewed her in March, and then you see things change, and then the firing.
And who cares?
Oh, I thought your point was the new boss, and so we...
Yeah, you can do that. Well, you can fire... if she's playing Maroon 5 in The Office, he can fire her.
Well, I know,
yeah.
That would be with cause.
That would be with cause. I think that's